I am going to tell a story about. I had decided for the better part of 2024, I wanted to do a ride for the remainder of the two counties in Rift Valley. Rift Valley consists of Turkana County, Samburu County, Bomet County, Elgeyo Marakwet, part of Kajiado, Trans Nzoia County. So I'd been left with two counties, that was Baringo and Elgeyo Marakwet County. But for some reason, I never quite got around to doing that trip. So I decided that I'm going to do it in December. So December became busy, and then when the third week of December, I decided that on 20th was going to be the date that I even go to Baringo and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. So packed the bike. This particular trip was a very good one because I had a friend come over and like, I'll do the bike checks for you, I'll clean up the chain and lubricate it. It was the first time that is ever happening, so it was really nice. And so come 20th in the morning, I decided that I'm going to leave at 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock, my bike is fully packed. I did the typical first photo of the morning, the one where I say terrain, and out I went. I was going to use the Nairobi-Nakuru route and then on to Baringo. So I get out at 7 o'clock as planned, and I go and get onto the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. I had not even gotten to the Mai Mahiu junction. Along the Nairobi-Nakuru, there is a Mai Mahiu junction, which is an alternative route that the trucks usually take. I hadn't even gotten to that point. Traffic. The vehicles were hardly crawling. There was no wiggle room for the motorbike to pass. The KLR is fully backed. Yeah, and the KLR doesn't do very well in traffic like that, so it was heating up. So in that moment, I was like, if this goes on like this, then I cannot, because by the time I was going to be getting to Nakuru, I will be very tired if that is the pace we're going to be going at, and I will going to use a lot of fuel. So after like 10 minutes into the traffic, there is no alternative route to branch off, so you have to really keep at it. So when I got a turn to go back, I took a decision and I was like, I will turn and go back and try again tomorrow. So that is what I did. I turned. The next opportunity that I got of turning, I turned and went back home to sleep. I remember I parked my bike. I didn't even unpack. The way it was packed, that's how I left it. And then I went to bed. I removed all my riding gear and left it next to the door of the living room so that the following day I had made up my mind I'm going to be up very early, gear up and out. Okay? So so I went to bed. That is like 9 a.m. in the morning. So I was like, I'm going to sleep so that I'm fresh the following day, early and bright. I'm ready to take on the journey on 21st. So I went to bed. When I woke up, I remember getting onto social media and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That traffic that I had experienced in the morning was gridlocked all the way to Nakuru. It really was a good decision to turn around. I mean, people had highlighted from their vehicles, they were already having mini festivals because I guess everybody was traveling for the holiday seasons. People had already highlighted from their vehicles, and the content creators were really at it because it's from them that we were able to see that the gridlock. Yeah, but in that moment, I mean, as I watched those videos, I remember asking myself, where do all these people go to relieve themselves? Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I remember looking at that, and immediately I thought to myself, I'm like, hey, I have to make a plan B, because there's an alternative route to Nakuru. That is, you go through Thika, Nyahururu, Aberdare, you get to fly over, and then you get to Naivasha, then Nakuru. The only problem is that route is 200 kilometers longer than Nairobi, Nakuru. But yeah, I kept it as a plan B. So I decided that instead of 5 a.m., I'm going to wake up at midnight and leave at midnight and gun for Nakuru. So that by the time people are waking up and joining on the road and traffic, I'll be further ahead. So midnight came and out I went. Immediately I got out of my compound. It started raining. But what's a little rain? It has never stopped anyone, right? Wrong. Just when I was getting onto the Nairobi-Nakuru highway again, it was raining. And I mean, it was really raining. And I hadn't put on my rain gear. So, and I couldn't stop because I was like, I'm riding against time. I want by the time anybody's even thinking of waking up later on, I'm already further ahead. So yeah, here I am. So I'm gunning for it. The road is clear. I am happy, so I go. I'm telling you, I get past the junction at Maimahiu. Here is traffic at midnight. So I turned after the policeman told me to turn. So I turned, and I decided to give up. And as I rode back towards Nairobi, I remember I said, let me go and sit at, there's a Total service station at a place called Sigona, right? It's just some distance from where I was standing from. And I went and sat there and ordered tea. It's 2 o'clock thereabouts, and as I decided one last time what I was going to do. So as the tea went down and I felt much warmer, I decided, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go. Remember, I'm on day 2. Yesterday I went and I came back and slept. So today, no, I decided I'm going to go and I'm going to use the longer route. So getting into the right frame of mind, knowing that I'm going to do 200 kilometers extra, yeah, that was not easy. But yeah. So at 2:30, I got on the bike and off I went. And it was raining. And the roads in Nairobi, the ones going out of Nairobi, were flooded. I remember showing somebody the video, and they made fun of it. They were like, "Oh my God, I didn't know the KLR is a submarine." Yeah, so there I was. I'm on my way. I'm Thika bound, and then I got to a place, a town called Kamwangi. I had never heard of Kamwangi. What I hadn't anticipated is 45.7 kilometers of muddy road that I had not anticipated. So I was on tarmac, and the next minute I wasn't on tarmac. And it's 3 o'clock at night, and in my mind I know I'm going into a forest. That's a Aberdare forest. And in that moment, I was questioning my life choices. I was wondering, what is this about? Anyway, there I am. I decided to go on. And I remember I kept stopping the occasional vehicles that were passing. asking them, is this the state of the road? Like, yeah. And they were saying it casually, like as if they are used to it. So I figured, yeah, like, yes, this is the road. And I went and rode, and then I got to Aberdare Forest. And it's well past 3 o'clock, going to 4 o'clock. Because the road is muddy, it had covered the lights, so the visibility was also poor. So I reduced my speed and went slowly, and as I waited for any car that was going to pass, I'd seen canters passing on the opposite direction, so I figured that there would be one that would be going on the same direction that I am. So luckily, yes, a canter came, so I motioned them to stop, and I told them, and I requested the driver if he could drive in front of me and be aware that I'm behind him for safety, because I know Aberdare Forest usually has elephants. So yeah, that is how we rode. He was kind enough, God bless his soul, and we went all the way across Aberdare Forest, and we crossed. And let me tell you, being soaked, I'm soaked, I'm cold, I'm hungry. Flyover was a sight for sore eyes. I remember I got to flyover and I I almost cried. So I got to fly over and I gunned for Naivasha. So I met my stopover. By 7 o'clock, I was in Naivasha. I was muddy. I remember the people in Naivasha where I stopped were looking at me and they were really wondering where I've come from because I was really muddy. But yeah, I sat down to have my breakfast and also to have the motorbike washed. And I was washed as well. Okay, at least from the knees going down and the boots. So yeah, and then from Naivasha, it was smooth sailing all the way to Nakuru. Then from Nakuru, I branched off and went to Baringo. I got to Baringo, and my first order of business in Baringo was Mogotio, the equator. At the equator, there is a lady that had been in constant communications with. She's called Miss Ann Keter. Miss Ann Keter, I had interacted with her via social media. She had come to the limelight in 2024 because of her eloquence and how proficient she was with geography, especially on matters of the equator. And I remember before visiting, I looked at her, I looked at how she explained it, and I remember marveling at it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And so before the trip, I'd hunted her number down and we had talked. And I told her it would be an honor for me to go to Mogotio Equator and get to meet her. And she gets to explain to me on the matters of the equator. So when I got to, every county usually has like a gateway. So when I got to that gateway of welcome to Baringo County, of course I stopped and I had to take a photograph. And so yeah, my photograph was taken. And then I went to Mogotio, the equator. And when there, I found Miss Ann Keter was waiting for me. I got off the bike and she gave me such a hearty hug. Remember, I'd been on the road since midnight. This was well over the afternoon. So I've been on the road for a good over 12 hours. It was amazing. And that is where Miss Ann Keter got me somewhere to sit and she got me something to drink. God bless her soul. And she went on to explain to me matters of the equator. Miss Ann Keter went ahead to organize for me somewhere safe where I was going to sleep. That was pretty amazing. And while there at the equator, I got to meet a wonderful group of women. They are called the Equator Cure Your Shop Help Group. We sat down and we had such a wonderful time. Actually, I was supposed to go to my next stop after that, but the whole afternoon I spent it there listening to their stories. It was really, really amazing. Yeah. Good.